In the lightweight division, Anthony Romero coming out of Canada, taking on another fighter out of West Virginia, and Matt Shaffer. Jake Digman's going to bring these two young guys out.
The following contest is an amateur bout in the Pinnacle FC lightweight division, and it is brought to you by Vapor Dog. Introducing first, making his down the aisle in blue corner, please welcome Matt Shaffer.
And Jesse, Matt Shaffer, another guy coming out of the Academy Underground, a BJJ brown belt under Kevin Wilson there at the Academy, and he is another guy, as like our last fighter, Dylan Weston. He's another guy who is a kids coach, MMA coach. He's a BJJ coach. Weston is a wrestling coach, but it's awesome to see these guys giving back and really helping shape the future of combat sports.
Yeah, and to that note, Matt Shaffer's been a lifetime martial artist. Mentioned to us that he started off with Taekwondo, kickboxing, high school wrestler, and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt now.
Right, 22 years old, making his MMA debut here at Pinnacle FC12, and all of these guys coming from the Academy Underground just seem to be absolutely pumped for the opportunity to fight alongside three guys from that gym here in a big show in Pinnacle. Shaffer, another guy who said, "Don't have a nickname. I don't deserve one yet." But a very high-level grappler, as we mentioned, a BJJ brown belt, has an extensive combat sports background, and you see a lot of these guys who have that background. They come into these fights, even if it's a debut MMA fight, they come in relaxed, confident, cool, calm, and collect is what I always say.
You know, just because the official record here is 0-0 doesn't mean that these guys don't get in fights 4 or 5 times a week. You know, I mean, you get into the gym, you really grind it out. Not a whole lot of difference, especially in jiu-jitsu and with a sport that you're able to really train at 100% effort, unlike a lot of the striking sports where you don't want to unload.
Right, Matt Shaffer's in the cage. Jake Digman's going to bring out his opponent.
And his opponent making his way down the aisle into the red corner, please welcome Anthony Romero.
And I always get excited whenever I see Team Ascension on a fight card. These guys show up ready to fight. They've fought in Ohio an extensive amount. Chris Bonfoco, a great coach, well-rounded coach, and he's been training this guy since he was 11 years old. He had a Taekwondo black belt when he was 11. He said, "Don't talk about that. He's not. That's the past." Romero is 18 years old. He's a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a black belt in Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. And we're going to take a look here, Jesse, at the tail of the tape between these two guys.
Looks like it's a pretty even match. I mean, obviously Romero's a little bit taller, going to have a little bit more of a reach. Maybe that's going to help with a little bit of the Taekwondo background that he may have. But Shaffer also a TKD background as well.
Right, and Romero coming in 1-1. I actually called his debut fight back earlier this year. He picked up a split decision win, and he's a guy who you can see he has everything. You can see he has all the talent. But in that fight, at least in that first fight, it looked like he was having a little bit of trouble putting it all together. Just 18 years old, so that's to be expected. But I'm curious to see how he's grown as a fighter now, already in his 3rd fight.
And to your point, Team Ascension always does bring great fighters. I believe they come with Matt DiMarco-Antonio that one time. Also a great fighter. Every time these guys bring in more fighters, it's always a good fight.
Right, DiMarco-Antonio actually not training with Team Ascension anymore, but he's one of the guys that really made his name out of that camp. They still have guys like Andrew Shea, Aaron Jeffrey, Vladimir Kazbekov, and Shea, worth noting, actually picked up a pretty big title on the East Coast last weekend. So Chris Bonfoco literally travels, it seems like, every single weekend all over the East Coast to Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. And he's a guy who is a road warrior, and they say that they never have trouble coming on the road because that's what they do every single time they come out.
Yeah, he must just be flying fighters out to wherever it is he's driving. Somebody's going to fly into Pittsburgh and get in the car. He'll pick them up at the airport, and they're on their way to Maryland.
Right. You see Romero, the 18-year-old genius is his nickname, as Jake Digman is going to give us our official introduction.
The following contest is an amateur bout in the Pinnacle FC lightweight division, and it is brought to you by Vapor Dog. Introducing first in the blue corner, he fights out of Morgantown, West Virginia. He weighed in at 154 1/2 pounds, representing the Academy Underground, making his MMA debut. Please welcome Matt Shaffer. His opponent in the red corner, he fights out of Welland, Ontario, Canada. He weighed in at 154 pounds, representing Team Ascension with an MMA record. 1 win, 1 loss. Please welcome Anthony the Genius Romero. This bout is scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds, and when the action begins, your referee is Mr. Chip Snyder.
All right, we're ready to go here. Amateur lightweights, Matt Shaffer in the green trunks, Anthony Romero in the black, Chip Snyder, third man in the cage. We're still here in the novice amateur rules, Jesse. The glove touch.
Shaffer coming out a little bit aggressive here. Looks like he's trying to set the pace.
Nice little left hook there from Romero.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he wants to let him set the pace, right?
Good head movement there by Romero. Shot to the body. Throwing kicks, leaving his head open a little bit there. Throws a nice 2-punch combination, lands, and Shaffer looks like he's hurt here. Romero now looking for the takedown, has his back already.
And those knees to the thighs are a real killer, especially early in the fight like this. He can just land those all the whole round up here against the cage.
Good job, good job.
Romero now with the clinch up against the cage has, it looks like, a wizard. Nice little jab there, drops Matt Shaffer, and Romero looking to pour it on here.
He's landing that left hand at will.
Don't be afraid to shoot. Shoot, Matt. Get the chance.
Romero looks confident in there. As Shaffer just can't close the distance, Romero catches the kick, drops him again with a right hand.
Control your position.
Now Romero in Shaffer's full guard, and this is really the game that Shaffer probably wanted to play. He doesn't mind being off of his back, the BJJ brown belt.
Yeah, and you know, these the amateur pads are going to maybe hinder him here a little bit. Looks like he tried to set up that high guard and wasn't quite able to get the grip on that he needed. So it'll be interesting to see how he's able to adapt to that to implement his jiu-jitsu.
Of course, no strikes to the head on the ground here. Shots to the body, though, there from Romero as he looks to work
30 seconds,
against the closed guard here of Matt Shaffer.
Romero's got to be careful keeping his hands on the mats like that against a high-level grappler here.
Yeah, Romero just really has his head down, and this is a position where he, you know, could get caught in something like a guillotine. 10 seconds left to go here in the first round. And Jesse, a good round there from Anthony Romero coming out of Welland, Ontario, Canada. And you got to figure that one's going to go to him.
Yeah, definitely. He came out for sure and started landing that left hand at will. He was setting up some good combinations, and kind of like you said, if you're able to land a good 1-2, you can string together a couple of wins pretty easily. Matt Shaffer, though, no slouch. He went to work a little bit, didn't take too many hits on the chin, but the ones that he took definitely put him on the ground. Interesting
to see that he dropped him a couple of times, but Romero still was looking for that takedown and still getting the fight to the ground. There's that little jab that drops Shaffer, puts him right on his butt. Nice stiff little jab there. And Romero does a good job of following up and not just kind of looking at his pretty shot there. Yeah, definitely going to score that first round for Anthony Romero. I think he came out, set the pace that he wanted to put it, kept it on the feet. He definitely wanted to try to avoid getting to the ground with that brown belt. But once he did, he put him up against the cage, really went to work, scored some points, and avoided any sort of danger. All right, we're ready to go here. Round 2, amateur lightweights, Anthony Romero and Matt Shaffer. We're here at Pinnacle FC12 in Cheswick, Pennsylvania at the beautiful Sirius Shrine Center. Great night of action so far here. Another glove touch. And Shaffer coming back out looking to not get taken advantage of again this time. And Romero looks like he loves the counterpunch, but he's also not afraid to be first. Throwing shots to the body. Big overhand right, drops Shaffer again. He follows up with that kick. And Romero now stalking, looking for the finish here. Up against the cage as Shaffer covers up. Pulling guard here on the ground, and I thought that might have been a finish to the fight there. Yeah, that combination started to come in real heavy, and Shaffer started to cover up, and it just looked like that Romero wasn't going to stop. Shaffer taking a lot of big shots here. Romero on top, but Shaffer still in this fight. Romero back to work here in the guard, trying to score some points. Again, like you see, pushing him up against the cage, but those hands down on the mat, that can leave him open for a Kimura. And now I thought briefly Shaffer might have been looking for that sweep, grabbing under that left leg of Romero. Romero stands up, though, here. This is where he would Romero stands up out of the guard. But I was going to say, that's where he might have postured up and thrown some strikes to the head, but of course not legal here in the novice amateur division. And that really handicaps a lot of guys that are amateurs that may have a little bit more experience.
It looks like we're starting to see a little bit of puffiness there under Shaffer's left eye.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. Romero throws a spinning back kick. Little jab. He's landing that stiff jab every single time he wants to is Romero. Now Shaffer looking for the takedown here. Good stuff by Romero against the cage.
He switches the position nicely. This
good job.
Beautiful work.
Yeah, grabbing those double underhooks is really big. It makes it so that your opponent cannot get under you and change levels and finish that takedown. As we now see some blood squirting out of the nose of Matt Shaffer. And Romero, it's interesting to note that he said he wanted to drop down to the 145-pound division, but he looks to be a very strong guy here at 155.
As we come in here to the end of that second round, it's a little bit tough to judge, but I still feel like maybe Romero got the best out of him in that round as well. But to your point, yeah, he's definitely a very strong, very athletic, very mobile fighter at that weight. So it would be curious to see him move down a weight class, but to be honest, I don't know if it'd be very advantageous for him.
But I think we're going to take a look here at the replay, and this is that big overhand right that just drops him just briefly and then throws a kick to follow it up. But good job by Romero stalking there and putting the pressure on. Unable to finish, though.
But what solid combinations that he's throwing out here. I mean, you could tell that this guy's in the gym frequently. And like you said, he's a young 18-year-old kid. He can only really move up from here.
And also staying patient and not getting caught with something silly. Like, fighters tend to just wing punches when they're getting hurt and they're getting tagged. And Romero doing a good job of staying confident. Or staying calm, excuse me, and staying patient and not overcommitting to anything there. And you see the good foot movement here from Romero. And Shaffer also has good hands, but he's really dropping that right hand, and that's what's opening up that left hand for Romero.
And I'm noticing that Shaffer's hands are dropping now a little bit more as we move here to the later
rounds. Spinning back
rounds.
fist there from Romero. As Romero stalks, again throws a combination. And Shaffer looking now for the guillotine. I can't tell if he has it locked in fully, but Romero's head is out. And now Shaffer's in a bad position here up against the cage as Romero throws some shots to the body, looking to pass here.
And with these short rounds here in this amateur, he's really only going to hold on here for a little bit, not get submitted here as we close in on that final minute as it approaches. Just stay calm and don't do anything dumb.
All right, minute 10 left to go here in the third and final round of this lightweight bout. Anthony Romero steps up out of the guard of Matt Shaffer, maybe looking to finish this fight on his feet. You see the little shoulder roll there from Romero. Very confident striker, just 18 years old.
And rightfully so. I mean, everything that he's thrown has been beautiful, and most of it's landed.
A nice body kick there from Matt Shaffer. You see Romero switching stances here. Throwing that jab, right hand. That lands. Good head movement here from Romero. Uppercut from Shaffer lands there.
30 seconds. I need you in, Matt.
A little push kick there from Romero.
Yeah, Romero clearly trying to keep his distance.
Another right hand as Shaffer drops his hands again. That two-punch combination, that left hook overhand right is landing at will for Romero. Another right hand, left hook. Stiff jab. Putting that jab in his face is Anthony Romero. 10 seconds left to go here in the fight. Shaffer looking for a takedown. Romero stuffs. That's going to be the end of the fight. Jesse, how do you score that one?
I got to give all three to Anthony Romero. Clearly, Matt Shaffer just didn't have an answer for the stand-up striking. It could have got interesting the more it may have went on the ground, but when it did, Romero really put him up against the cage, really kind of negated any sort of jiu-jitsu hit movement that Shaffer may have been able to generate. He kept it down, scored points the entire fight, and just landed anything that he really threw.
Right, great performance there from Anthony Romero, 18 years old. Interesting to note this is his third decision, so lots of cage time as we take a look here at the replay. I believe we're going to see that spinning back fist, and that actually did land. Just glancing blow there from Anthony Romero as he follows it up with some big shots to the body here and then goes in and gets that takedown. We scored all 3 rounds for Anthony Romero, the genius as he is known. just 18 years old. This guy coming out of Team Ascension in Welland, Ontario, Canada.
You know, before the fights got started, you and I were looking at the fight card, and we kept telling each other, this is a great night. It's a great night, maybe even, dare I say it, the greatest Pinnacle ever, as far as lineup-wise goes. You know, how the fights play out are yet to be determined, obviously, but so far, I believe that we've put out some really great fights.
3 great fights between. You can see all of the guys that looked like in the first 3 fights appeared to know what they were doing. There's not, you know, kind of guys who are just training in their backyard or their gym. These are guys all coming from legitimate top-level camps, fighting for the best organization in the state of Pennsylvania, bar none.
And with Anthony Romero being a young 18-year-old kid, it's exciting to see young guys getting really motivated for mixed martial arts. I mean, I think when you watch a lot of the higher ranks, the UFCs and stuff, you hear about how there's these young guys who don't have a necessarily background, that they're not coming from wrestling into mixed martial arts, that you're starting to see more of the younger crowd just be a solid mixed martial arts fighter. Not necessarily the case here with the Genius Romero, but definitely he's got a good striking background.
And Jake Digman has our official judge's decision. We're going to send it back up to him to see who won this fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for both of these fighters. After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards, where all 3 judges have scored this bout 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision, Anthony the Genius Romero.
And Romero knows where that camera is.
Let's give it up for Matt Shaffer from the Academy Underground. Hell of a debut fight, man. Give it up for him. Make some noise. Okay, I'm here with the genius himself, Anthony Romero from Team Ascensions from Welland, Canada. Anthony, we've tried to get you on a few cards. It finally worked out. Pin perfect striking, man. You cracked him with that spinning back fist. He showed a lot of heart by being able to continue after that, but honestly, man, you picked out your punches the whole fight. How do you feel fighting in the Pinnacle Fighting Championships for the first time?
I feel fantastic. Thank you guys for having me. It meant a lot. Finally get another fight, right? It's my 3rd amateur fight. I want to thank Team Ascension, Chris Bonfoco, all my training partners, just everyone watching in Canada. Thank you. And yeah.
We have plans for this guy. We want to have him back now that he's in the advanced division.
And I want to thank everyone who came out tonight. Thank you very much. Let me hear you.
Anthony the Genius Romero.